Have you ever set a goal that was bigger than yourself, or um, maybe you thought it was a great idea at the time, but and and you keep doing it, but you just somehow start to lose heart, and you start to feel like maybe there's really no point to this, or maybe I shouldn't have done this or that, or you start basically questioning yourself whether you should or shouldn't have done it. And, you start to lose heart and you end up not doing it. Well, that's kind of the story of my life. I'm one of those people that I don't like to waste time. I feel like I've gone through too many things in my life, and I've just kind of, you just kind of just get tired of failing or things not working out. So therefore, if I'm doing something and it doesn't work out, then I don't want to do it anymore. And one of the things that I learned in school, and that I kind of can apply everywhere else, was that when something doesn't work out, like let's say my studying habits or the way that I, start something off, I learn to really self-assess and kind of figure out, okay, what happened? What did I do? Why did it not go well? Why it wasn't smooth? Why was this harder? Besides the whole fact that the subject was hard, or maybe I should have studied or read more, just whatever it is, I try to kind of self-reflect. And the majority of the time, it was, I wasn't guarding my heart. And when someone tells you, guard your heart, you read the scripture about, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and, all those different scriptures that come to mind. It's like, how can I not guard my heart? Because I feel like I am, or I believe that I am, but it wasn't until I was challenged and to express myself as to explain how I am guarding my heart. And when I realized that I struggled with expressing myself as to how I am guarding my heart, I began to realize that I don't really think I am. I think up until a point that I was, but I think I allow outside things to kind of affect the things that are going on. So if God gives me a plan, a focus, something that will help me, grow, become a better person, if someone comes and gives me criticism, or even if it's corrective, mean, whatever, or gives me a comment, it's somehow I allowed it to get into my heart instead of seeing it, objectively and say, okay, how can I apply this in my life, or how can it help me improve and be a better person? I really took it to heart, took it personally, to the point that I think that, why should I do this? Why should I continue this? What's the point? And that's when I began to realize that I wasn't guarding my heart, and I was allowing things to get, into my heart, so therefore things lying in there that doesn't belong there, bitterness, offense, and things like that. And so I really learned to guard my heart, to take things with a grain of salt, assume the best in people. And now I'm not going there being ignorant or dumb, or thinking that everybody is fantastic and things like that. And on the flip side, I'm not being negative about it either. But I'm going to assume the best. I'm going to believe the best in an individual, if that's the case. And I'm going to, basically, the only person I could change is myself. So how can I grow and learn from this? Now, if they're hindering my walk and who I am and where I'm going, then maybe I need to separate myself. Or maybe this is just a bad day. Is this really their character? And that's something I need to ask. Is this their character into acting this way? And if it's not their character, then obviously the mercy and grace comes. We all have those seasons and those moments where, we're just not having a good day. And then you move on. And so it's really kind of, that's how you guard your heart. What are you going to let into you? What are you going to allow to affect what are you going to do or what you're not going to do? there's positive things that people say that I'm going to let in because it's going to inspire me or help me or encourage me or make me a better person or add to my life, or it becomes an ironing, sharpening iron type of situation. But then there's just some things that, you know, people mean well. And that's probably the biggest phrase that I always say, that everybody means well. But I don't have to receive that. I don't have to take that within myself, because it affects my mood, my attitude, my behavior, and it even causes me to question myself and not want to do certain things. So that's really about guarding your heart. What are you going to let in? What are you not going to let in? And sometimes it's hard to cut out certain relationships or friendships, or whether it's even family or anybody, because especially if you've been friends with them for 100 years, right? I always hear that all the time. Well, I've been friends with them forever. But if they're not helping you, if you're not moving or progressing forward, then they're not really a relationship that it's going to help you become a better person or anything of that sort. And I know that sounds kind of selfish, and it doesn't mean that you can't be around other people. I know people are going to bust out scripture and start telling me about how Jesus hung around with people that weren't like him and things like that. But the thing is he was only around them for a certain time, whether it was for dinner, whether it's for a teaching opportunity, a healing opportunity. And it wasn't for a longevity. It wasn't for a long period of time. You know, he was only around them for so long, and the majority of the time they're walking through miles and miles of time just alone with him and his disciples, or even moments where he goes up into the mount, or there's moments where it's just him and a couple of other disciples. So really study the book of Jesus, and let us not always over spiritualize things as to letting everybody in and let everybody speaking into our lives. It's really important to guard your heart. I think that's the biggest thing that I learned in going to school, was I needed to guard my heart. I knew that God had a plan, and it's a good one, and this is the direction that he's called me to go to, and I needed to be self-aware as to what I'm allowing to, you know, penetrate in my heart and things like that. And that's even things that we tell ourselves. So sometimes things I'm telling myself is not helping me, it's not feeding me, things that I'm speaking out loud that ends up hindering me in my walk. Those are a lot of things that I started to learn while going through school. And because I'm jumping in from finishing school on a Friday and starting again on Monday, because I went year round, week after week, those very few moments that I had a week off. And so I really had no time to, you know, oh, let me think on this and pray about it for a minute. No, I did not have time. I needed to, you know, put my big girl pants on, move on, get it going, and let's make this happen. You didn't come this far just to wallow in whatever somebody said, or in your pity or your doubt or anything of that sort. So that's something that I learned, and I just hope that it would help someone else to really pay attention to and remember why God has called you, where you're at in your life, and not allow things on the outside to affect you internally.